association with Leeds Spirits. I'm Mai,
Hello, I'm Colin.
and we are talking about a fucking rare defeat, Colin. First league defeat, 2025. Probably could have come at a better time, if I'm honest, but it wasn't catastrophic. We're still sitting third place, so um, I suppose we'll just jump right into it. We've got a lot of talking points to get through, so if you've sent something in on Blue Sky or
Because we
on
lost, because we lost, the talking
uh,
points are straight back up through the roof.
or on Twitter, we'll cover as many as we can. But also, if you're watching us live on YouTube, then feel free to stick something in the comments, and we'll get to them as well. So, Colin, three changes to the team. I don't think either of us got it right. So Miller came out, and O'Hora came in. Hoylett went out, and Campbell went in, and Kukovic dropped out for Bowie. Did you
Yeah.
have any strong thoughts on the
Well,
team lineup?
so O'Hora, Miller's not in the squad at all, so he must be injured, and they just kept that one quiet. So I was surprised when I seen it, and then when I seen Miller wasn't on the bench, I thought, well, that must be the reason. And I've not seen any interview otherwise to say he's injured or anything.
I think
So
he was
I
ill.
assume
I
ill.
gather there was a bit of illness.
Right. And then I thought Bowie would come back in for Kukovic. And Campbell for Hoylett. I can understand that as well.
Hmm?
Um, I think I had thought Cadden would have come in for a beater, but he didn't. So I wasn't surprised. It's still, we're basically running with 14, 15 players, aren't we? That's what we're picking from. And if Miller's out, then well, that's the obvious. I say Miller's out. It's like it's his position. He's only been there about 3 or
A
4
few
weeks, and we're
weeks,
treating it
I
as if
know.
it's. It was O'Hora's position till he got injured in the derby, wasn't it? At the start of March. So, um, I wasn't overly surprised. Kind of understand why Campbell might play sometimes. I thought
Hmm.
we might need Hoylett to try and break them down, because I think he adds that bit of creativity that Campbell's maybe not got. But Campbell, as you've seen, he nearly scored yesterday.
Aye.
Like so, he can provide goals, but he doesn't provide creativity or as much.
I was trying to think about Campbell. So we spoke, obviously, Campbell's a player that's been spoken about a lot, and I think we kind of landed on you accept what he doesn't give you for what he does
Yeah,
give you, and that's sort of like a lot of players at Hibs isn't he all an all round perfect player. And I like Josh Campbell, but I think one of the things that he lacks that we needed yesterday is that composure on the ball.
yeah,
Like I think when the ball goes to Campbell, we lose it a lot. Like I think like he's quite good at winning free kicks and things like that. But if he
yeah,
doesn't do that, that tends to be where the attacks break down a lot of the time. And I think Hoylett might have been a better option there. But
yeah.
Campbell likes playing against Aberdeen. He's got a good record, and he
Well,
very
you
nearly
said
scored
that.
against them yesterday
Yeah,
as well. So it's not a change I was necessarily against. And then Bowie for Kukovic, I think that's probably a popular change given how Bowie finished the last game against Dundee. You've just frozen on my screen, Colin. So I don't know if you can still hear me or no. I'll take that as a no. So hopefully this isn't a precursor for us shutting down altogether, as happened on our Friday preview. I'll let Colin refresh. Here he comes. There you are, back again, Colin. We're just asking you about. Uh,
heard the whole thing.
oh, you heard it? Oh, brilliant! Just disappeared for a wee while.
Yeah, I was answering you, but you couldn't hear me.
Oh yeah.
So,
I imagine this is what conversations with my wife are like for her side of it.
I felt like I was talking to my wife because she couldn't. You weren't answering. I'm like, fucking hell.
Brilliant. Right,
Um,
what did you say?
you were saying about Bowie being a popular replacement for
Ah,
Kukovic. Aye, so I think it is. It's like I think people. I think I see him as our first choice striker, or one of our first choice pairing, I suppose. Um, scored more goals. He seems to have added more, given more to the team. So I think big game, you've got to go. You would think your your best 11.
yeah,
Although we didn't. But he did up front.
aye. And there was a bit of criticism. I think once the match got underway, Hibs played really slowly. Like it seemed like we were content to slow the game down, play out for a point, which would have suited us. If we got a point, that was a much better
Yeah.
result for us than it was for Aberdeen. Bit of criticism for that approach. Do you think that's fair?
Aye, I do because I think a draw would have suited, but it would have been good to have got the draw on the back of trying to win it.
Mhm.
And I don't think we did, although we probably had. I was going to say I think we had better chances, but the XG tells me different. Well, it's quite
Well,
even. So
I think Aberdeen's XG increased in the last few minutes when we were chasing the game. But I think up
right,
until they scored, it was pretty
aye.
even in terms of quality chances. They tested Smith more than we tested Mitov, but had we hit the target with our chances, I thought our
Well,
chances were better.
that's it because we were off target a lot, weren't we?
Aye,
And if you watch Sports Scene back, it did feel like we were the team with the better
aye.
opportunities. There seemed to be more focus on our chances, the highlights. But aye, it's. I would have been. We would have all been happy with the draw. I just
Mhm.
when you don't get it, that's when you start asking the question, saying, "Well, did we actually try to win?" And I don't think we did, and that's why we never played Nicky Cadden. He's your biggest threat, really, for creation and chances and sometimes goals. So I
It was
think
quite strange when Cadden came on because the sub where he came on,
for
uh,
Levitt,
I came on for Levitt, but you would have thought he was maybe coming on for Obita, but he didn't. Obita stayed on. Cadden came on, and Campbell sort of
mm,
dropped back. Didn't think the change really worked though. I thought we probably had the momentum in the game at that point, and then the subs I thought
yeah.
uh, sort of shifted the momentum probably back in Aberdeen's favour.
It's a funny one, eh? I mean, because obviously I was somebody. I think it was Joe, with the phone in that maybe put his team in and he had Cadden in the 10.
Mhm.
And I was a bit like, never played there. Why would you do that? But then we kind of did for the last 20 minutes. And that's why I don't think we should.
Aye,
Like, if can he get him in his own position, don't put him in a position like the made up position near 10.
aye. So disappointing. I mean, it's a wonder goal for Nisbet. I think I was listening to David Gray's press conference actually just before we came on, his post-match comments, and he says, it's one of those goals you can't really do much about. He said, every goal you look at to see what you could have done better, but sometimes you
Disagree with
just
it.
got to accept, like, you concede one. There's not a lot that you can do about it. Do you think that falls into that category?
No, the strike does, but I mean, we allowed the cross to come in, so Hora let the boy get the cross in. Rocky's header clear, wasn't he? Great header clear. And I think it's Cadden or Triantis. I think
I think
Triantis maybe dropped
Giannis.
deeper, and then Cadden didn't get across to let him have the shot under no pressure. So I think there's three different things we could have done better. But I mean, it's a good strike, and I do wonder if Smith was a wee bit taller, he would have got to it.
I
Can see
don't
that.
think. I think it was right in the top corner, and I think no
Mm.
keeper was well. Say no keeper, right?
Some
Obviously,
keepers
they're
have
no
seen it.
scored.
Mhm.
Somebody might have saved it. But I think
I know
Smith's
that's the
positioning.
harshest. That's the
Aye,
harshest of the four, right? The other three, I'm going. O'Hara's not done enough to get out there. The Triantis and or Cadden haven't posed the pressure on Nisbet, and Rocky's headers clearance isn't very good.
I think it's one of those ones you're probably thinking, can you didn't mind them hitting it for there because it has to be
Aye.
perfect for them to score. And
Yeah.
just unfortunate was it for us, it was perfect. I think Smith's positioning was fine and everything. He's gone for it with the right hand, all the things that you would look at for the keeper, but it was just right under the crossbar. I think that's really difficult
Mm.
to save unless you're standing on the line,
Aye, because he
ready to
wasn't on
tip
the
it
line.
over. But can keep you wouldn't expect your goalkeeper to be there. We've got first comment on it comes to green tea, right? And I think that's a good point, and I'll be interested to get your thoughts on this one, Colin. She says, "Wish I could say I was surprised at some of the negative comments from fans, but I'm not. All the usual get rid of comments about Campbell are a disgrace." So it's one of these things. You looked at the replies on Twitter at full time to the Hibs tweet, and I was a bit surprised that. I reckon why I was surprised because I shouldn't have been, but a bit taken
Mm.
aback at the reaction to it. What did you think about that?
I've not read them all, but I have obviously heard about some of them. I'm surprised because it's like it's disappointing, and I think it's because it's this expectation thing, isn't it? Right. So if we don't get third now, there'll be like folk will be going fucking mental. But only even 2 months ago, we would have been saying fourth or fifth. So it's just I don't know if this folk do it for a reaction or if they actually believe it. Like nobody in our lifetime has ever seen Hibs do a run like this. Well, actually, only one set of people in their 80s or something will have
Aye.
seen this run, and we've just matched it. But we lose one game to a wonder strike and go fucking nuts. And I hope it is just a minority dafties.
Well, there was a good post for Pretty Boy and Hibsnet that sort of almost countered it to say, right, because he'd seen this sort of narrative about the negativity towards the team, and he says like you got to keep it in proportionate. It's like a handful of comments that are like that, but everything else, like most of the folk I've spoken to about it, have been pretty pragmatic and gone, like you say, that's a generational run, but more than a generational run. Like you say, it's once in a lifetime run that the players have been on. It wasn't like we were up against bottom of the league or anything. We're up against a team that's neck and neck with us for third place. They're a good team, and we're away to them. And they were pretty pragmatic and accepted it could have happened, and still pretty proud of the team and expecting them to bounce back. So I always think with these things is like perspective is key as well. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
Like shouting to get rid of any player really after the run that we've been on and the season that we've had is nonsense. Like
Yeah.
it really is. If we need to have a wee bit of word
But
about it.
people store this kind of stuff up,
Hmm.
and it's like well, we know folk that don't like Triantis, right? And as soon as he has a bad game, they're on him. Same as when Paul Hanlon was the year. Same with
Hmm.
Lewis Stevenson, and it's like doesn't matter if they have 10 good games because the next time they have a shite game, I'm going to tell you I was right, and I tell you he was shite. Um, and it's unfortunately Josh Campbell's the latest in a long line of those types of players. I mean, he's been good
Hmm.
this season. Probably Young Player of the Year again.
For the 19th year running.
But aye, that is, I mean, it's a shame. Like it, and he's like he's a Hibs player that's came through the academy, but he's like Hanlon was like Bill
Aye.
Stevenson is, and yet like they're the first ones it's like the turn on. I get it, didn't get it.
That if anything's a thing where you support the players, like every player that Hibs have is capable of a bad game. Like there's none of them
Aye,
there that will go through a full season and not have a shocker at some point. Um, aye. There's a good point anyway from Green T. K. Rob said yesterday's result, not the one we wanted, and is now a test for how the team respond to this league run ending. I'm confident Gray can address the areas which need to improve. Third is still on. That last point, Colin, right? So third place, we are still third in our own right as well. It's like
yeah,
uh,
goal difference.
Rob McLean and not Richard Gordon, who I thought was on commentary
I was
yesterday.
wondering when you were messaging, I'm like, what's he watching with Richard Gordon?
No, it was Rob McLean. I always get them muddled up. I knew who I meant, and I was picturing the right person. Just
Even
getting
when
things
I
wrong.
questioned you with it saying, "Are you sure it's not Rob McLean?"
Aye,
I didn't say that. I said, "Does Richard Gordon no work for Cove Rangers
well,
on a Saturday now?"
had you said, do you not think it's Rob McLean? I would have went, oh, I so it is.
I thought I'm not going to be too pedantic here. Maybe he's watching something with
Aye,
Richard Gordon
nah,
on.
nah, it was Rob McLean. He had them in joint third. I'm like, nah, you're not joint third. You're fourth. Like if the league finished today,
Just you
you're
could
fourth,
just to quote that tweet earlier there. Just checked, still fourth.
still fourth. Aye, just check, still fourth. Um, so we find ourselves still in fourth place after it. Sorry, still in third place. It is still in our hands. Like no matter what the other teams do
Yeah.
over the
It's a
next
big one
four
on
games.
Saturday. That
Aye,
Saturday we've got to do it because I think if we beat Dundee United and St Mirren, but although we have looked at the fixtures on our extra time and Aberdeen have got Celtic in the prime spot to beat them. That's when you want
yeah,
to play them. That midweek before the last game, and that's when they've got them. That's unfortunate, especially after yesterday. But I think we've got to beat Dundee United. They're away to St Mirren, so we could still be tied if we beat them.
aye.
And then I say tied, but you get what I mean. Morally third, I think that's how we put it, isn't
Worley third. Aye,
it? But that's and then you're into both having to play the Old Firm, but they get Celtic at the time. That I would have picked if I could have picked that.
aye. But then I would say the flip side of that is we've got Rangers at home on the last day of the season when
I don't want to be going into that last game.
no,
Just because even though Rangers are shit and Ferguson's out there just telling everybody the players are shit and they've not got the mentality in that. Um, the last game of the season, it's I don't know, just set up for. Didn't want that to happen. I'd rather get it sorted. Beat Dundee United, beat St Mirren, and see if we can and see if they can lose to
aye.
someday.
It's a funny situation because I think we had I can't remember if we spoke about it or whether it was on Hibsnet about whether yesterday was the biggest game of the season. I think we probably did speak
We
about
said
it,
that.
and
Aye, we
and
said that
and what probably is, but that rolls on now, doesn't
next
it?
week now. Aye.
To this week, and probably depending on how results go, will be the same for the for the remaining games. It would be nice to get to that Rangers game, and no matter what happens, it'd be the smallest game of the season.
Yeah.
If that's like the thing, like if you've got a biggest game, surely you must have a smallest game as well. So hopefully that's the case.
I was sitting on last. I was out yesterday early in the car, and Dundee United Celtic was on, and I was like, "This is brilliant. Their goal difference is getting smashed," and that. And then I thought, actually, I kind of want Celtic to stop scoring now, because once you've been hammered like that at home, your next game you're all into. Didn't let it
Make
happen
amends.
again, and
Aye.
be solid. Didn't let anything in. See if we can sneak something, and that's where they're going to be coming next week properly. Five is a doing, but I was thinking at one point this could be 8.
Mm-hmm.
By the way it was going. So luckily Celtic took the foot off the gas, because I think 5's bad enough, to be honest with you. But any more than that, they would have definitely just shut up shop next week.
Aye. When you're into a score where it requires the words in brackets after it on the video
You're on the
printer.
winner. Where
Aye.
does it start? Is it 7?
I think 6. I think today when it gets to 6. Maybe it's 7 because it looks a wee bit like a 1 if you're not paying attention. Robert said, I'm normally quite reactionary to the results, and even I'm like, what the fuck are some of these people saying? Rob said, what I'm afraid of if we don't finish third is the media spinning this into a story of us throwing it away when we had to stick together and work to claw back a massive points gap. So like,
Just the media doing that, though. We've got fans doing that ourselves.
Aye.
If they're Hibs fans, though, I sometimes wonder. I mean, I've impersonated other teams' fans before in the olden days of the internet, and deliberately. So, do people do that on Twitter? I don't know. Assume they must.
Have burner accounts for pretending to be fans of other teams. Could be a summer activity for us if we're bored.
The spam accounts, you call it now, I think.
Aye.
When I thought I was talking about a spam Instagram the day, I'm like, all right, what the fuck's this?
I noticed, so there was a bit of narrative coming from Aberdeen fans, right? So what we found with Aberdeen fans, I don't kind of anybody tuning in a wee bit of Schadenfreude when you tune in to see, that's what it is, like you take pleasure in other folks' misery, as we've done with Hearts.
I've been doing it. I'll be doing it this week again as well.
Oh, I definitely. So we had loads of Aberdeen fans in our comments again. Like, we'll have to heard from them since November. Like, glad to see that most of them are still okay. They've popped up again now.
Back supporting the team.
Talking about how we've shat it. And I think that was mental. I have made the point to them that when we played them in November, they had the chance to go, I can't remember, was it 27 points clear as at that point?
Aye, 27, 28, something like that, yeah.
Aye, something like that. And they're behind us now. Like, if you want to talk about shitting it, even if we finish fourth and Aberdeen finish third, they've shat it far more than we have over the course of the season. But by a fucking country mile, to throw away a lead like that, to find yourself behind a team is properly shitting it. So I would encourage any Hibs fan that hears folk talking about Hibs shitting it to kind of challenge that narrative and just point out where we've come from. So I totally agree with Rob there as well. I mean, what are your thoughts on it, Colin?
Well, I mean, nobody shat it yet. Well, Aberdeen have, but I mean, they're maybe going to pull it back. Who knows? It's a 1-0 defeat away to a team that's directly challenging you. It's hardly shining it.
We've beaten them twice this season, which is another thing that I found mental. Is that kind of
it's a hard place to go.
It's a hard place to go. Chris said Rob McLean was howling on comms yesterday. Guy was a slaver. Well, what I found about McLean, right? So we had the cliche about Rocky. Literally used the words. He's got a mistake in him. Boyle gets fouled out in the touchline and he implies it's a die. And then
that's what they do.
Sees the replay, goes, well, maybe there is something in it, but he made sure the referee saw it. Shinnie did a full on dive, kind of like a proper, absolute fucking silence about it. And then he was going about Hibs time wasting and only playing for a draw. In fact, Ross says there in the comments, we definitely played for a draw. I agree, Rob McLean was spouting shite on Reds TV. Kieran said, was disappointed yesterday. We made them look much better than they are. Thought Gray got it all wrong, starting 11 and subs. First time I've said that this year. Will very unlike him to be so scattergun. Do you think it was? I mean, we kind of spoke at the start about it was a criticism fair that we might have played for a draw. Do you think, in hindsight, Gray got it wrong?
I don't think we tried enough to win. I don't. And there's probably been other games this season when we've played similar to that and came away with a result, and we're happy about it, saying he's got a spot on. But yesterday we never took our chances. we never had great ones.
Yeah.
But, Rocky had that header. I think he should have probably scored. And then the other ones, we weren't even on target. And their goalie does look a bit sus at times, doesn't he?
He
Even though
does.
like a lot of folk wanted to sign him when he was the St Johnstone goalie. But I think we didn't take our chances. We didn't have brilliant chances, but we did have one that I would expect Rocky to score that. Sorry, 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10.
He's getting on target, and it's a goal. I think Campbell's two headers. I think the diving header was the harder of those two ones, and then Boyle found himself in a good position and taking a shot and pulled it wide as well. And I think if he hits the target with that, it's probably a goal as well. Assuming it's no straight at the keeper. I thought, like if I look at the balance of play, I thought Aberdeen probably the better in the first half, but I felt comfortable the whole game. Like I didn't think Aberdeen particularly looked like scoring. Smith had a good game. And then they score really from almost out of nothing. I mean, it's a cross into the box that we've defended by heading it straight to Nisbet, and he's hit a worldie. And then after that, as we were chasing the game, Aberdeen had a couple of chances that looked like scoring. But before that, I was like, I actually said to my wife, "There's one goal's going to win this. If we score first, we'll win it 1-0, but that could go the other way just as easily." And I just had that feeling of that kind of game that whoever got the goal was going to sneak it. But I actually thought it was most likely to end 0-0 going how it was going. I didn't think we troubled their keeper, and I didn't think they really troubled us.
I was surprised they didn't play Nicky Cadden. He is your biggest threat. He's back fit. He's back. He's played now a couple of times off the bench. I was expecting him to come in, and he gives us that creativity just by good deliveries.
Yeah. Chris said, honestly, don't see the logic of Campbell over Hoylett. It did seem that change made me think we were defensive. A bit of a worry for me is how ineffective Bowie seems to be when starting. What do you think about that? So Kukovic has started the last 3 games. Bowie came in for him just now, and probably because he scored 2 goals against Dundee in the last match that we had, he's given himself a good shout for a starting spot. But do you think Kukovic would feel a bit like unhappy or aggrieved at being dropped for that game?
It maybe is, but Bowie came in and scored goals, didn't he? So strikers know, like, it's about scoring goals. But then sorry, I never picked up the name of the person that messaged that, but Chris, he has when he does seem better off the bench. I don't know if he's better running at tired legs, because he's not fully fit himself. He didn't really do pre-season, came in, got injured, probably needs another pre-season, and he's just trying to catch up. Maybe the best place is for him the last half hour when, like, get Kukovic or Gale on to tire them out, and let him come on and have a run for the last 30 at them. Don't know. Maybe that's it. Before for next season when he'll run, hopefully have a whole pre-season and stuff and be fully fit.
I thought is it easy? I thought Bowie was quite ineffective. I thought Bowie was pretty ineffective, but I thought the bigger issue was behind them, and Chiantis and Levitt, and probably more so Chiantis than Levitt. I thought Levitt had a bit of a better game. Didn't really impact the game at all. I thought the game was passing them by, and a lot of the joy that we had was long balls with the kind of long diagonals or try to get in behind, rather than playing through the midfield. And they just didn't control the game as we had previously. And I don't know if that again is like, does Hoylett help that because he holds onto the ball a bit better and is able to link up?
I think you're probably right there. Somebody's willing to take it under pressure and stuff and hold on to it rather than just bounce it back or whatever or lose it. So that might have been the option there.
Kieran said, think he regretted bringing Gale on after 5 minutes. Ended up with Boyle right back and Cadden centre mid. John McGlynn said, F. David Dickinson too, by the way. What a walloper that guy is. Not the bargain hunt guy, but the referee. Kieran says, one injury and we changed 3 players. I've said all season Bowie is a sub for now as well. Different player when he starts, and don't know why that is. And Ross says, I can see why we play Josh on that role. He chucks himself about, wins tackles and headers. So David Gray tried something that didn't work. We move on. And I think that's fair enough as well. Like I said, I think you know what you get with Campbell, and he does bring all that stuff with it. So I always think, like I said at the start, you need to accept what you didn't get with Campbell to benefit from the stuff that you do get from.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to go to Blue Sky Call and get a couple of talking points here. Part Fry's image. who's other John, said, thought that many of the attributes that got us to third were on show. Good shape, structure in defence, ability to play through the lines and chances from set pieces. Campbell and Rocky header should have hit the target. Nisbet's shot was unsavable, and sometimes things don't go your way. That's a pretty fair summary of things, isn't it?
Aye, that's what you get for other John, no?
Aye, very sensible head. Roboito said McGrath should have at least attempted a last minute OG to give him a better chance of European football next season.
It's a weird one, that, eh?
Aye. On the plus side, Critchley's Hearts former have the look of Butcher's Hibs going into free fall at the worst possible time of the season.
Tell you what, I think I said that to you yesterday. I've listened to their podcast this week, the ones that bothered to put one out, because I noticed, like, even after the semi-final, which is surely peak fucking listening time, then they bother putting one out. But they've been talking about 5 dead rubbers, and I'm like, wait a minute, if they lose on Saturday, like I've said that, I can't believe how nonchalant they've been with the dead rubbers. It's like, they were away to Ross County this week. If they lose to Ross County, they're right in the fucking mix there. They're sitting there going, just one more win, we're all right. Ever heard that before?
Aye, I remember. I just need one more point. It just fucking never came. And we'll be all right. We'll be all right in the playoffs. We'll be all right. We're 2-0 up going into the second leg of the playoffs. Aye, fucking been there.
That would be fucking lovely, like, the yo-yo club.
Aye, tremendous. McGrath looked good when he came on for Aberdeen. And funnily enough, so McGrath thing popped up in a few different positions. And I would say if you're looking at, it sounds like we're signaling Josh Campbell out for this episode, and we really know. He would be a significant upgrade on Campbell. I think there's an all-round impact that he had in the time that he was on the pitch. I think he did more than Campbell did in the time that he was on the pitch. I'm really glad that we signed him. I think he'll be good for us next season. H18AMT said Aberdeen are absolute bobbins, but we were properly misfiring today. It was like we were playing with the brakes on. Playing with the brakes on, we definitely slowed things down. How do you feel about that? Like, so I know that there's the thing about game management, and I don't know if it's necessarily the same as that's us playing for the draw, but like, is it a sensible tactic to just, almost for the word go, to just take the pace out of the game?
If that's a strength of the opposition, then I get it. But I didn't get the sense that that's a big strength of Aberdeen's. Well, I haven't watched them a few times this season, and specifically last weekend. I would have just been like, just you have the ball and do what you want with it, because she's only that good. I mean, and their goal that they got, it was a fucking wonder strike. He's not doing that next week.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, there's no real creativity there on anything. So I would have been tempted to have let them have it, but I didn't really, I didn't see them being a fast-paced team that we need to slow down. So.
I thought it looked like we were reluctant to commit forward a lot of times. It was one of the the aspects of our play that I've not really seen since the early season, and that when we had the opportunity to go forward, we stopped and played the easy option back. And then sometimes we were going right back to the keeper. And I know, like that, there's a whole argument, recycling the ball and trying to find the right gap and pull Aberdeen out of position. But I thought there was a few times where the break was on, and we've been really good at breaking against teams over the last few weeks, and we could have taken advantage of it. And just the decision making was a wee bit like, well, we're not going to take the risk. And I don't know if there's like a subconscious thing even. There's not necessarily an instruction for Gray, because I don't think Gray would have told them, didn't try and win. But I think you definitely have a subconscious thing when you're going for like an unbeaten record. You didn't want to be the one that makes a fuck up that costs us it. So you maybe are a wee bit more reticent to get forward or take the chances that we had been doing before. And what I hope happens is now that there's no more talk of the record, that's gone. When we go next week, it's like let's get back into what do we need to do just to win this match in front of us. Scott Patterson said poor performance overall, and for the first time it looked like trying to protect an undefeated run rather than trying to win the game. Defensively pretty solid, but poor up top. Back to it next week, Hibees, and finish the season on a high. You would have thought I just read that message just before I said what I just said, but I honestly didn't. But I totally agree with you there, Scott. We've got on YouTube, Ross says we really miss Miller. Warren is too slow. I actually thought O'Hara, once he settled into the game, had a really good game. Not quite again as fluent going forward as Miller. And maybe we missed that down the right hand side with Cadden.
Yeah.
But I thought defensively, O'Hara had a really good game. Lewis says, think we'll still finish third. Would you think, Colin?
I think we I think we can. I think we need to win this weekend. And then I think if we win this weekend, I think we'll be okay. But I'm just worried that we've lost one and then we don't get straight back on the horse.
Aye. I think it's dead tight. Yeah. Like we've spoken about it before, and I think what we've tried to do is not make bold claims about what Hibs are going to do. We're not going to be like the folk will be slate on Twitter that are fucking making proclamations about fucking they're going to do this and that and the next thing, and then end up looking fucking stupid. I think we're still in pole position for third. It's in our hands, and I think we're capable of doing it. That's probably as much as I'll say in it. Chris said, agree, Ross, which was about David Gray trying something and not working, and we move on. He says, one game in 4 months, we move on to next week. Neil said, Nisbet will never score a goal like that again in his puff. John said, like button rant, get it pressed, bangers. So yes, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't pressed the like button, then please do so. Also, if you're listening on a podcast player, it really helps us if you leave a positive review as well. Just putting that out there as well, if anybody's of a mind to do that. Neil says, McTominay just scored a double for Napoli. Could we get him in? It's unlikely we're going to be able to afford Scott McTominay, Colin, you reckon?
Aye, for now.
For now.
Maybe bring him back in his late 30s or something.
And John McGlynn says absolutely Neil Healy's in talks with Mackay. K-Rob said Hearts have their Player of the Year awards tonight, despite having just sacked Critchley and yet don't know what league they're in next season. I'm glad I always think the Player of the Year awards must be a fucking nightmare when you've had as we know, when you've had a shanner of a season. Everybody just must wish, like, okay, just get the night done as quick as possible, get pished and then go home.
Yeah.
Right, Jack Taylor on Twitter said, Glass very much half full. Third is in our hands. Besides an excellent finish, there wasn't much between the teams, and Gray will learn from the experience, particularly the second half subs. Got to get back to winning ways on Saturday. It is true that there's not much between the teams. I mean, despite there's been Aberdeen obviously had that huge gap that we've sort of clawed back and overtaken over the course of the season. But even the games that we've had, games that we've won, they've not been
Had almost
hammering.
similar seasons. It's just mirror like that. Their first 3 months versus your next 3-4 months has been almost identical for that point of view. Like they were good, we were shite. We were good, they were shite, and now we're just even again. And that's why we're bang on the same amount of points now.
And it should be pointed out, Aberdeen's a very expensive team as well. You know, if we talk about it a lot about how much an impact it has if you've got the money to spend. Mm-hmm. Aberdeen are a much more expensively assembled team than ours. We're ahead of them in the league, so I think that says a lot about our team. Gordy said, the run has been sensational. Great days out. Disappointed today wasn't another one, but perspective needed. We were comfortable most of the game. Would have liked to have seen us being more on the front foot and slightly less cautious, but a once-in-a-career strike is the difference. This is the thing, Colin, like when you're sort of when a draw's a good result for you and you almost get it, if you sort of regret not going for the win, but you made the point, like had we held out for it, like if that wonder strike is an inch higher and comes off the crossbar and the game plays out at 0-0, I think everybody views the entire performance differently, don't they?
Aye, they would have, because we would have gone, that's just 3 points ahead, 4 games to go, and they've got, like, well, we've both got Rangers Celtic to play, but you know what I mean? It would have been, yeah, win Saturday and we're done. That would be what we'd be saying.
Aye. Jake Gapper said, too lacklustre, played like we were happy with the draw until Nisbet scored a very good goal out of nowhere. Campbell and Levitt not at the races, and Rob McLean a peen-arse on the commentary. I was surprised with Levitt. I thought Levitt out, like I said it already, I thought Levitt out in two midfielders was better than
But the teams
Triana.
have this, right? There's always somebody that gets a hook.
Yep.
There's always somebody. It doesn't matter, and it's like Triantis is almost the default man of the match at Easter Road now. You know, like even if he's no man of the match, he gets it. You know, like in the derby, like for example. But there's been other ones, and he's been good, but there's been games when he's been quite quiet, and he's still been man of the match, or Levitt's still been subbed, and you go, why is that? But that's what happens. I see it all the time. You see it all the time.
Axel F said Smith and Rocky are only pass marks. The rest, nah. Actually, I think that's harsh. I think more than two players got pass marks, but I think the team overall collectively was probably just on the pass mark. You know,
See,
like
Rocky's one of the default pass marks here as well, isn't he? Because like if you watch the highlights by it, he's missed the sitter and the clearance for the goal. Like, and I don't know what it looked like. I'm hammering the boy, but like you're saying, he's one of the ones with pass marks. Well, he should have scored and he could have defended the goal well and better.
um,
Just to be a devil's advocate on that.
aye. But I think what we were lacking, we spoke about this before, right? So I don't think the team are capable of carrying three or four players that are not at it. And we had that on Saturday. Like I thought we'd done enough to get a point, or we almost did enough to get a point, um, by being okay. But we didn't have anybody that was brilliant. We never had an 8 or a 9 out of 10 on the pitch. Aberdeen probably had like Nisbet would get an 8 for his finish, but he had another one chopped off for offside, but it wasn't him that
Yeah.
was offside in the move. That was the difference between the teams. I think Aberdeen didn't have any standouts either that you would have went and said, "Came on, I wish they were in our team."
Uh-huh.
But they had that one moment of quality. Mixu99 said, "Played for a draw, didn't look like losing, but we were not great, disappointing." Mikey said, "Don't think we did enough to win it. A draw might have been a fair result, but don't think we can complain too much. Went down to a ridiculous finish from Nisbet. It's how we respond next week that'll matter." What's you got a feeling how we'll respond, Colin? You think we will bounce back, or are you worried about it?
I'm a wee bit, especially with them getting a doing like that. As much as we wanted to make it beat, I think like a valiant effort defeat, not an absolute fucking pumping. Because I think when you get a pumping, you know what we're like. You
Mhm.
get a pumping at the Old Firm, and your next game you've got to be on it, and you've got to show a bit of fight and a bit of battle and a bit of grit. And that's what
Yeah.
I think they're going to. I can't imagine that they'll not be like that. Especially when you look at the character of Jim Goodwin. That's what he was built a career on, didn't he?
Mhm. Chris said, "Really hope the result at the weekend doesn't affect ticket sales. That team absolutely deserves sellout crowds." I really hope for a big attendance on Saturday, and I agree with Chris there. The team does deserve it. We'll have two tickets for it available as well. So if you want to go, but for whatever reason can't, or if you just want to take advantage of a couple of free tickets, we'll have a thread on our Patreon chat, which I'll start this evening, for Dundee United tickets. So you can stick your name down there. You have to be a member of our Patreon. You don't have to be a paid member for it. But as long as you're on there, you can enter the draw. Just put your name down in that, say you're interested in it, and we'll pick a winner by Thursday and get the tickets to you. So that's two tickets available thanks to our relationship with Leith Spirits. Ronnie said Dundee United are going to be a tricky game. They have won more points away than they have at home. That's surprising. There can't be many teams in the league, Colin. You think that have won more away than at home.
No, I've not checked. But no, I wouldn't have thought. It's not normal. Not normally that would be the case. Not normal for that to be the case. Sorry.
We're definitely much better at home than we are away. Somebody put their away form up. I can't remember where I saw it, whether it was on Twitter
Aye, because we've
or
had a
on
lot
one
of
of the
draws.
forums. Aye,
It's shit teams away from home.
aye. Our away form isn't great, which is considering the run we've been on is quite surprising. But we've won, was it 7 in the last 7 at Easter Road? So
Is it really? Aye.
aye, good to be happy with playing at home. That's another record, by the way, that I can't mind us doing. Like
Oh,
you try to think back to the last game we didn't win, and I'm not sure if that was the 3-3 with Rangers.
I was thinking it might be.
Uh, I've no checked it, but that's the last one I can remember is no winning. Chris says, by the way, what do we call a pass mark? I would say 10 out of 15. Well, where would
10.
you? Aye, where would you
8.
put 8? That's scraping a pass mark. It's just at 50%.
Aye. Oh, aye. Aye. Unless you're at uni or something, or nursing college, and you fucking pass with 40%.
Aye, that's mild, eh?
Get
Some,
less than half it right, and you pass. It's mad.
and Chris also said, huge Giannis fan, but honestly thought he and Levitt didn't get a grip of the game. Defensively sound and Nohora cut out in the first half was class. There was one, Colin, if you remember or if you saw it, there was like a long diagonal and it looked like the boy was going to be in and fucking almost for nowhere O'Hora's been able to bring it down and block it. It was tremendous. Um, I thought O'Hora had a good game, considering he's not played for a wee while and he was coming in for a first start.
Yeah.
I thought he did well. Michael said, could tell we were the team who had last weekend off. Got beat by a lucky goal. Bowie showed why Big Cookie has been starting. Campbell could have had the game wrapped up in the first half with his 2 headers. Again, it reflects the importance of taking your chances there at this level.
Yeah, and that's what we've been good at. And then, but I suppose it's one of them. It's like the low averages says you can't do it. Like it's not like we have, but it's not like we're bombarding teams and like coming away. It's like we're being quite clinical. Dundee, to maybe some extent, we did hammer, but other ones it's been like I've won 3-1, but we had four shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've been clinical and just never happened yesterday.
Stuart said the worst away section in the league. Even Celtic restricted views better. Didn't play particularly well, but they were no great shakes. The Pittodrie's a shithole anyway, isn't it? Like, I mean, the whole fucking stadium's a shithole,
Yeah.
but the away section there is fucking horrendous. All bird shit on your seats, and the view's shite, and it's fucking uncovered.
And then the half the amount we could have as
Aye.
well.
I think in this day and age, it's pretty poor. Like, you should expect better facilities than that as a football fan going to
Well,
like a
that's
top
why they've
flight
been
ground.
going to. That's why they've been going to build a stadium for fuck knows how many years now. But they keep pulling it and changing it, don't they?
It's how they do. It's because they keep diverting money towards their team.
Yeah.
They'll need to spend it at some point anyway. The mental Hibees says we created enough chances to win the game. I thought we limited them to very little, and it took a wonder goal to beat us. Big game next week now. And Leon said nothing to overreact about. Third is still in our hands. I felt we never got up to the standards we've been setting, but that can happen. How much of that, like, so not reaching the standards that were set, how much of that do you think was down to Hibs not being at it versus Aberdeen being right up for the game? Because obviously they knew they had to, it was a must win for them, wasn't it?
Mm. Aye, but did you feel that they were like all guns blazing like to win it?
I thought I thought they upped their game, definitely. Like,
Aye.
I thought they've um, they forced the issue more than Hibs did. And I think you could see by their action at the end that they knew what was riding on that game.
Well, they looked like they celebrated like they had won something,
Hmm.
actually. So it was just a game to take them into fourth place or
Yep,
keep them in fourth place. But the way they reacted, it looked like like they're
the
preempting
home and
something.
host.
Mm.
Aye,
So I'd
I
be
know
using
that.
that if I was like mind Lennon used it with Dundee United
Yeah,
in the Championship. He's like, you can't think they've won the fucking league because they beat
that
us.
was like December or something.
Aye,
November, December.
they beat us 1-0 on like a Friday night or something in the
Aye,
Championship. And that was when mind we got them in early January and gave them an absolute doing.
aye.
Humphreys, was it the boy Humphreys in the wing? He had a cracking. McGinn came back for injury and scored.
Oh, aye.
But it was like and that was used as a motivation to say,
Yeah,
them. And we should be thinking about that. There's only 4 games to go. It's like, let's look, have a look at that. Or that's how much it means to beat you now.
aye.
Look what they think they've done.
You're spot on. And I think that's again when we talk about folk running their mouths off and everything. I definitely would be using that if I was David Gray, just to say like it's like the psychological thing that they think they've done it. So
Get the
fucking
clips, Richard Gordon or Rob McLean or whoever, and get the audio.
aye.
Release the audio. Release
At
the
least
tapes.
that Dundee United game was brilliant. That the one at Easter Road. Humphreys, I think that was the only time we really saw him. He got injured just
Aye,
after that, and
yeah.
we never saw him
Like
again.
January the 2nd or something. It was like a
Aye, but
Christmas series thing.
McGinn coming on back for injury, and he picked up the
Scored.
ball. You fucking knew he was going to score. It's funny as soon as he got the ball, you're like, it was a cracking goal. He was a decent player. McGinn, I wonder what happened to him.
Aye, aye.
Uh, Raymond said, agreed, didn't play well at all. Aberdeen, no great shakes either. It's how we react now next week. That's the test. Disappointing, but overreaction from some fans after one defeat. Paul said, we didn't really look our normal selves today. However, until that goal, we didn't really seem on to much trouble, in my opinion. However, if there was ever one team that deserves a little slack, it's this one. That's important as well. Like the and I think we have seen it. And we'll go back to that original point at the start of the episode with that Green Tea had made, that there is like a small group of fans who teed off about it. But I think generally what we're seeing, certainly coming through for the comments we've had here and
Yeah,
on YouTube, that folk have been sort of pretty much backing the team.
yeah. I think so. I think they've got enough in the bank, and I know it's I say credit in the bank, but you know what I mean. It's like it's only been 4 months, but they've probably got enough there. They've definitely got enough there to lose one game against a direct rival. It's not like we went away to fucking Darvel in the cup or something.
Aye, we're not taking a 6-0 scudding. Hibernian Loan Watch said players need to lift the head up and start a new run. It's still in our hands. Do you think that's? Do you think when you have a run like that, that's what happens? You lose it, and then immediately sort of the motivation is to say like, well, let's go and get another one started now. Or do you wait till like we were talking about on Friday? Where you wait till it's not like the third or fourth game.
Three
You wait
games
till
in.
you're like 10, 11, and it's in
Uh,
sight.
I think they'll be talking that, but I don't think they'll be. Is that? I mean, it's taken that long to get here. Like, I think this one will be a. Didn't let this slip into. Didn't let this slip into a fucking 4-5 losing run now.
Aye, that's it. Just to make sure that we refocus. Robert said we can still do it. Stephen said unbeaten run had to end at some time. It took a wonder goal. Some of the comments from the usual who've been waiting since November to post utter shite are laughable, by the way. Some utter bell ends in our support. Steve said my favourite moment was Nisbet's celebration. He hates you a lot. As an Aberdeen fan getting involved.
I replied to him.
You did. You said he hates everyone, mate. Seems to be a very unhappy individual. All the best to him.
And I mean that.
Yeah.
All the best, Kev. Maybe I want to go and speak to somebody.
JRF said played for a draw when going for the jugular in a game where third could have been all but confirmed. Should have been the game plan. Nothing in the game apart from a wonder goal. Massive game next week. Absolute must win, or we'll be struggling for third. ONG said defended well enough, but not enough attacking intent for me. We didn't properly get at them at any point in the game, whereas they had sustained pressure for large chunks of each half. Felt we were going to get a point, but great finish from Nisbet. Martin said totally in control, but the way we play relies on us taking the chances that do come our way. Rocky should have scored, and I want to see that disallowed goal again. Totally agree with the previous guy. O'Hora should have cut the cross out. Too many chances, or sort of too many changes in the lineup. The disallowed goal, probably I thought it was probably right to disallow it. I think Rocky smashing the keeper. That's maybe a bit of hyperbole there. He's done enough to stop the keeper, and I think O'Hora as well sort of held the boy that might have cleared the ball off the line as well. They looked like there might be a few fouls on the go there.
Aye, probably that's probably better safe than sorry. They're not sure which one
Aye.
it was, but it was one of them. You know. By the way, on that, did you see Craig Gordon coming up for the corner at the end last night in their
No,
desperation?
I've not seen any of their game. I've seen
No,
the goal that
I watched
Murray
sports
scored
scene.
on Twitter, but contrary
Oh
to
man,
popular fucking belief, I'm not bothered what they do. Like I've not seen their game at all.
I was just watching sports scene last night, and so the goal's a fucking comedy. Like the boy's back in the line, and Gordon just watches it go through his legs, and tries to blame the boy, obviously, because he's not taking responsible for it. But then he came up for a corner at the end and just cleaned their keeper out, right? And then he's like running because they scored
Right.
for it. We got disallowed, and he's running out the goals, getting it, the waving the hands, and that's it. It's not a foul. Like, Craig, man, you'd be doing there,
Okay.
fucking shot, rolling about, like we've all seen you, you
Stretcher
cheating
on and
man.
everything.
Aye,
Um, John Glenn says 90% of our season has been big games and we've came through eventually. I've no worries. We'll finish strong. Third place is still very much ours, I reckon. Chris said felt first half they upped the tempo and we coped. Second half we were much the better side. I'd agree with that. Kieran said O'Hora plays centre half in a two or doesn't play. In my opinion, he's not playing over Rocky and he can't play right of a three. And Chris said there's something that tells me we will lose next week and then win three on the spin. Oh, and finish third. It's the Hibs way. Daniel Tulloch. I don't care if Daniel's a Hibs fan or no. The way that he's worded this one, hard to tell when we get beat. It says your test will be when the rest of the contenders are back to full strength. I reckon who the rest of the contenders are. Aren't they up to full strength? So Aberdeen weren't missing anybody. St Mirren are,
no, we're missing Newell. Maybe he's meaning that.
and Yuan
And
as well. We didn't have Lewis Miller and
no, maybe it's them.
maybe that's what he's meaning when we're up to full strength. Um, who else would it be? I mean, Dundee United aren't missing anybody. I mean,
Don't know.
try to think who else in the top
Attention.
six would be a contender that's fucking under strength. Get a touch, Daniel. You can tell us who, specifically which team you're meaning. Kieran, same Kieran that's been commenting tonight, says for all the credit we gave the team, they haven't done anything yet. Thought selections and subs were start of the season David Gray, nothing made sense. O'Hora struggled all game, lazy defending for the cross. 4 cup finals to go, need to win against Dundee United. Gradman said, any idea what happened to Miller? And obviously we thought he was sick. Michael Jones said, thought great, overthought the game a little and the subs were late. Mentioned on Hibs TV that Aberdeen had control of the game for 5 to 10 minutes before the goal. Steve said, got to play their game, not sit back and invite the pressure. 2 home games definitely must win games. Eddie says, don't be sad it came to an end, just be happy it happened. That's a decent shout as well, isn't it? It's like when you reflect back on this season, it's going to be the story of the season is going to be that unbeaten run, not necessarily where we finish.
Aye, it will be, and it'll be something like, obviously teams will try and match over well for the rest of your days. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen every season. Like, it doesn't happen every season. It's just a pity they never got the full record. Like,
Aye.
they've jointly got it out doing better.
It would be nice for them to do it outright, Aye. Chris said, by the way, awful lot of empty seats at Tiny yesterday. 6,000 waiting list as well. John says they're in their beds. Stevie said, evening all, sorry, late to the party. Had a feeling Saturday was going to end badly. Also fancied Nisbet to do the damage. Hopefully we turn it back round versus Dundee United. Keith said, was always going to happen, but hopefully Gray gets the team going again next week. Almost forgot what it felt like to lose a league game. Was going to ask the Jambos. It's funny. I usually a defeat for us usually fucking ruins my weekend there. Like, I'll be annoyed about it and everything. But even though it was like a really important one, I didn't feel that annoyed. At full time yesterday, I felt disappointed for the team, disappointed for what it might mean for the season. But I actually didn't feel like annoyed or angry about it or like wanting to lash out. Not normally like I would proper in the have a grump and jump onto Twitter and have a good fucking moan and all the rest of it. But I just was like,
big long, too long didn't read on Hibs.net and that.
Aye, all of that, and I was like, nah, come on, we played all right. We didn't bottle it. We didn't go up there and no turn up. We were in the game. We almost got what we went up there for. Aberdeen are a good team. As good as us. Did you feel any different about it?
I was disappointed because I thought it was a big chance. 1, to get that record. 2, to almost seal 3rd place or to put Aberdeen, demoralise them a bit. But I knew it was going to come at some point.
Aye.
And it wasn't a hammering, it wasn't an embarrassment. Like, the folk are trying to seem to make out that it was a big bottle crash and all that. It's a 1-0 defeat away to your closest rival. You know what I mean? It's no a bottle crash. Like, these things happen.
Aye.
And it was 10 minutes, 10 minutes to go. It wasn't a late goal like the usual typical Hibs stuff. It was late, but it wasn't like the 90-minute one.
Aye, well, an injury time or whatever. Aye,
that's no that team's no. That team haven't. I was going to say haven't got that in them. They fucking have, because they did at the start of the year, but they've got rid of it.
Aye. Stevie said, just a shame the run ended to the only team we didn't want it to end against. We played well for the majority of the game. We lost to a stunner. It happens. That's like a funny point. You talk about it running to the ending to the only team we didn't want it to end against. Now, that run could have ended at any point over the last however many months. And we played Hearts, we played Celtic, we played Rangers. Like, all these teams we wouldn't have wanted it to end against. So I get the point, Stevie, that now, because of the running
that positions he's talking about, yeah.
Aye. But we've probably avoided it not happening against a team we didn't want it to happen against already. Green T said, Joe Newell was good on co-coms on Hibs TV.
You chose to listen to Richard Gordon, though, so.
Well, do you know what? I would have watched the Hibs TV one, but the stream was
illegal.
Like it was illegal. It wasn't available in a legitimate way. But it was just unwatchable. You couldn't. It just kept jarring every wee bit. The Aberdeen stream was better. So,
maybe as well make him work for his money, yeah.
Aye. But Joe, I caught the start of it, and Joe Newell. I think Joe Newell's always good. We've got an episode with Joe. It's a cracking interview we had on. If you've not heard that already, go and have a look on our channel. You'll see it.
It was way before he was a captain, and that. It was a couple of years ago now. Like,
he's definitely a good guy to listen to. John McGlynn said, I had a 5-minute feck's sake grump and then I was fine. Supported Hibs long enough to ken what it's like. Stevie said, agree. Green tea, hearing the slagging off Chantis for not being the brightest was fantastic. Joe's no brain surgeon himself. And John saying that I agree he was good for a laugh. Right, so we're pretty much up. I think the last comment for John White is probably one that is a good one to finish. He just said we were unlucky. And I think that probably sums up. I thought you lose to a strike like that. It's just one of these things, isn't it? Like it's no. You can, as you say, Colin, you can always find faults in the goals that we concede.
Yeah.
But I think generally, if Nisbet misses that shot, nobody's looking at the defender thinking it was bad. Right, so we'll be back with extra time tomorrow. Extra time is our subscriber exclusive stuff, so you get that if you are a YouTube member or if you've subscribed on Patreon, where you can choose to watch it on YouTube, or you can get it streamed to your podcast players. So you can go check it, go to Patreon, search Long Bangers, you'll find us, or you can click the wee join button on the channel if you're watching this on YouTube, and you'll get that a couple of quid each month that goes right to the podcast and helps us sort of keep churning them out. So tomorrow we'll pick a topic. I think we're going to start looking at our team of the year tomorrow.
We're going to pick a team of the year.
The Hibs team of the year.
Oh,
what were you? Did you have other ideas for when we said that? Did you think we were doing something different?
I thought you were talking about the team of the year that got picked and going, how the fuck did
they
pick?
Oh, that's yes. You're right, and I'm wrong for a change. For a change.
I was just going to let that slide. Then you could even let it.
It is what it is. I'll say it without comment. Yeah, we're going to look at the Players' Player of the Year that was picked and published, and we're going to sort of test the Hibs players against it for position by position to see who might have got in and might feel aggrieved to it, and whether or not we agree that it was right that they were left out. But thanks for tuning in. Please do go and subscribe, and even if it's just to subscribe on the YouTube channel, that helps us as well. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.